Picture this. Your stalking ex just grabbed you wrongly. A dangerous stranger just saved you by unbuttoning his shirt, and now he's asking you to dinner. Do you run or do you stay? Laura chose wrong. Or maybe she chose right. Either way, that one decision at the Valentine's party led to betrayal, heartbreak, and a love that almost destroyed them both. Trust me when I say this Valentine's party was just the beginning of something wild, heartbreaking, and completely unexpected. Subscribe right now because you're going to want to know how Laura survives falling for the one man she absolutely shouldn't have. Laura's ex-boyfriend Colson yanked her wrist so hard she stumbled backward into the dessert table. The private Valentine party went dead silent. Everyone stared, and her heart quickened, from pure rage mixed with humiliation. "Let go of me right now," she hissed through clenched teeth. Colson's grip tightened. "We're not done talking. You don't get to ignore my calls, and then show up here like..." A hand appeared on Colson's shoulder, slowed him down. The hold was calm and steady, but somehow more threatening than any shout could be. She said, "Let go." The voice belonged to Chung Won-shin, owner of 3 hotels in the city and rumored to run half the underground trades nobody talked about in polite company. 6 feet of controlled danger in an expensive black shirt. His dark eyes held no warmth. Colson sneered. "This doesn't concern you, man. This is between me and my girl." "Your ex-girlfriend," Laura corrected, finally wrenching her arm free. Her skin burned where Colson had grabbed her. Chung Won didn't move, just stood there, staring at Colson with an expression that made Laura's spine tingle. Then slowly, deliberately, he reached up and unbuttoned the top button of his shirt. Then the second. Then the third. Colson went pale. Actually pale. The color drained from his face like someone pulled a plug. "You know who I am?" Chung Won asked quietly. Colson swallowed hard. Took a step back. Then another. You were just leaving." Chung Won's tone never changed. Still calm. Still quiet. Somehow that made it worse. Colson practically ran for the exit. Laura's hands shook, but she forced herself to breathe normally. The other party guests slowly returned to their conversations, pretending nothing happened. That's how it worked at these events. See everything. Acknowledge nothing. "Thank you," she managed. "You didn't have to." "Yes, I did." Chung Won buttoned his shirt back up with practiced ease. "No man touches a woman like that. Not anywhere. Especially not in my hotel."
"Oh, right."
This was the Millennium Crown Hotel. His property. His territory. "Still," Laura said. "I appreciate it. Most people would have just looked away." "Most people are cowards." He studied her with those intense dark eyes. "You're bleeding." She glanced down. Her elbow had scraped against the table edge when Colson grabbed her. Blood dotted her champagne-colored dress. "Perfect." This dress cost her a month's salary. "Come with me," Chung Won said. It wasn't a question, but somehow wasn't quite a command either. Every instinct screamed at her to be cautious. She'd just escaped one controlling man. But something about Chung Won felt different. Maybe it was stupid. Maybe her judgment was broken after 2 years with Colson. But she followed him anyway. They took a private elevator to the top floor. The penthouse level. His office probably, or maybe his actual home. She couldn't tell. Everything looked like something from a magazine. Dark wood. Clean lines. Windows overlooking the entire city. "Sit," he said, gesturing to a leather chair. He disappeared into another room and returned with a first aid kit. "I can do it myself," Laura protested. "I know you can." He knelt in front of her anyway, carefully cleaning the scrape with antiseptic. His touch was surprisingly gentle for someone rumored to break men with a single phone call. "But you shouldn't have to do everything yourself." Something in her chest cracked a little. When was the last time someone took care of her? When had she last let someone take care of her? "Why are you being nice to me?" she asked. "You don't even know me." "I know your ex-boyfriend is a fool." Chung Won applied a bandage with careful precision. "I know you deserve better than being grabbed in public. And I know you're trying very hard not to cry right now." Laura blinked rapidly. Damn him for noticing. "I'm fine. You don't have to be." He stood. offering his hand to help her up. Not here. Not with me. She took his hand. His palm was warm and calloused, not what she expected from a man who ran an empire from behind a desk. These were hands that knew work, knew struggle. I should get back to the party, she said, even though returning to that room full of staring people sounded like torture. My friend Vero is probably worried. Or you could stay here. Chungwon released her hand, but didn't step away. Have dinner with me instead. Real dinner. Not those tiny appetizers they're serving downstairs. You're asking me on a date? Laura couldn't keep the disbelief from her voice. Right now? After that mess. Especially after that mess. His mouth quirked in something almost like a smile. Unless you'd rather go back down there and pretend everything is normal. She considered it. Weighed her options. Going back meant facing whispers and pitying looks. Staying meant... what exactly? Getting tangled up with a man even more dangerous than Coulson? But Chungwon hadn't grabbed her. Hadn't yelled. Hadn't made demands. He'd just been there.
Steady. Solid.
Safe. What kind of dinner? She asked. The kind where you actually get to eat. His eyes held a hint of warmth now. And where nobody grabs anyone. Okay, Laura heard herself say. Okay. Yes. They ate Korean barbecue in his private dining room. Not the penthouse. Not his office. A completely different space that felt lived in and comfortable. The meat sizzled on the grill between them while they talked about everything except what happened at the party. So, you're a graphic designer? Chungwon asked, flipping the pork belly with expert precision. Freelance mostly.
Corporate branding.
Logo design. The boring stuff that pays bills. Laura accepted the perfectly cooked meat he placed on her plate. What about you? Besides the hotels and the other things people whisper about. The other things are greatly exaggerated, he said, but his smile suggested otherwise. Mostly I make sure everyone follows the rules. My rules. Keeps order. Keeps people safe. By scaring the life out of them? When necessary. He poured her more wine. Your ex needed scaring. He won't bother you again. How can you be sure? Because I made it clear what would happen if he did. Chungwon's expression darkened. And I keep my promises. All of them. That should have frightened her. Instead, Laura felt something else entirely. Relief maybe.
Or something more complicated.
Something that made her pulse quicken when he looked at her like that. You're staring, he said softly. You're worth staring at, she replied before her brain caught up with her mouth. The air between them shifted. Charged. Dangerous in a completely different way. Chungwon set down his chopsticks. Laura, I need you to understand something. My life is complicated. The things I do, the people I associate with, it's not safe. It's not simple. And getting involved with me would put you in the middle of all that. Is this the part where you warn me away for my own good? She raised an eyebrow. Because I'm a grown woman. I make my own choices. I'm not warning you away. He reached across the table, his fingers brushing hers. I'm making sure you know what you're choosing. And what am I choosing exactly? Me, he said simply. If you want to. No pressure. No obligation. But if you say yes, if you decide to see where this goes. I protect what's mine. Completely. Absolutely. Without question. Her breath caught. Not from fear. From want. From the realization that maybe, just maybe, she'd been waiting for someone to look at her exactly like this. Like she mattered. Like she was precious. Like she was worth protecting. I want to see where this goes, Laura whispered. Chungwon smiled. A real smile this time. It transformed his entire face. Good. Then let's start with dessert. 3 weeks later, Laura moved through Chungwon's world like she'd always belonged there. He took her to art galleries and late-night noodle shops. Bought her flowers for no reason. Listened when she talked about her design projects like they were the most important thing in the world. You're spoiling me, she told him one evening. They were walking through a night market, his hand warm around hers. That's the idea, he replied. You deserve to be spoiled. What if I get used to it? Even better. He stopped at a vendor selling handmade jewelry. Pick something. Anything you want. Laura laughed. You can't just buy me things every time we go out. Watch me. He was already talking to the vendor in rapid Korean, pointing at a delicate silver bracelet with tiny moon charms. Chungwon. It reminds me of you, he said, fastening it around her wrist. Beautiful. Strong. Constant. She kissed him right there in the middle of the market.
Didn't care who saw.
Didn't care about anything except the way he held her like she was something precious. But paradise never lasts. The trouble started with a phone call. Chungwon's expression changed the moment he answered. His whole body went rigid. When he spoke, his voice carried an edge she'd never heard before. Where?
Pause.
How many? Another pause. Handle it. I'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up and turned to her. I have to go. Business emergency. What kind of emergency? Laura asked, but he was already flagging down a taxi. The kind I can't explain right now. He kissed her forehead. Go home. Lock your doors. I'll call you when I can. The taxi pulled away before she could ask more questions. Laura stood there in the market, the bracelet heavy on her wrist, wondering what she'd just signed up for. Chungwon didn't call that night. Or the next morning. By afternoon, Laura was pacing her tiny apartment, trying not to imagine worst-case scenarios. Finally, her phone rang. I'm sorry, he said immediately. No hello. No explanation. Just apology. Are you okay? That was all she cared about, really. I'm fine. Can I see you? I'll explain everything. I promise. They met at a coffee shop far from his usual territory. Somewhere neutral. Somewhere quiet. Chungwon looked exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes. Tension in his shoulders. But he smiled when he saw her. There was a problem with one of my business partners, he said after they ordered. Someone decided to skim money from a joint investment. Had to remind them why that's a terrible idea. Remind them how? Laura asked carefully. Legal pressure mostly. Accountants. Lawyers. The boring but effective approach. He reached for her hand across the table. No violence. No drama. Just consequences for bad decisions. She wanted to believe him. Needed to believe him. Are you in danger? Am I in danger?
No.
Not from this. I handled it. His thumb traced circles on her palm. But I need to ask you something. If this life, my life, becomes too much, if you want out, I'll understand. No hard feelings. No pressure. Laura considered it. Really considered it. Being with Chungwon meant uncertainty. Meant late-night emergencies and questions she couldn't ask. But it also meant feeling valued. Protected.
Cherished.
For the first time in her life, she felt like someone's priority. I'm not going anywhere, she said firmly. Not unless you want me to. Relief flooded his face. Never. I never want you to go. He kissed her right there in the coffee shop. Sweet and desperate, and full of promises neither of them could guarantee they'd keep. But someone was watching. Through the window. Hidden among the crowd. A woman with sharp features and sharper eyes. She pulled out her phone and made a call. Found him, she said in Korean. And he's with someone. A black woman. Looks serious. The voice on the other end responded with instructions. Understood, the woman replied. I'll make sure she knows the truth about Chungwon Shin. The message came 3 days later. Laura's phone buzzed while she was working on a logo design. Unknown number. You should know who your boyfriend really is. Meet me at Riverside Park. Noon tomorrow. Come alone, or you'll never learn the truth. Her stomach dropped. She stared at the screen until the words blurred. This felt wrong. Felt like a trap. But what if it wasn't? What if there really was something Chungwon hadn't told her? Something important? She thought about showing him the message. Asking him directly. But doubt crept in. Coulson had lied to her for 2 years. Gaslit her. Made her question her own reality. What if Chungwon was doing the same thing? What if she was falling into another nightmare? No, she said out loud.
No.
I trust him. I trust myself. She texted back. Who is this? No response. Laura deleted the message and blocked the number. If someone had something to say, they could say it in the open. She was done with games. Done with manipulation. Done with people who thrived on secrecy and fear. But the next day, another message came.
Different number this time.
Your man killed someone. Ask him about Busan. Ask him about the fire. Ask him why his brother disappeared. Her hands shook. This was different. This was specific. Too specific to ignore. That evening, Chungwon took her to dinner at his favorite restaurant. Private room. Traditional Korean food. He was in a good mood, laughing at her attempts to use chopsticks properly, teaching her phrases in Korean, being absolutely wonderful. Can I ask you something? Laura said finally. She had to know. Had to hear it from him. Anything. His smile was genuine. Open. Trusting. Do you have a brother? The smile disappeared. His entire expression shut down. Why are you asking about that? Someone sent me messages. Said I should ask you about Busan. About a fire. About your brother disappearing. The words tumbled out. Is it true? Is any of it true? Chungwon set down his chopsticks very carefully. When he spoke, his voice was flat. Emotionless. I had a brother. Past tense. He died 5 years ago in a warehouse fire in Busan. The fire was ruled accidental. I had nothing to do with it. But people think you did? People think a lot of things about me. Most of them are wrong. He looked at her steadily. But some are right. I'm not a good man, Laura. I've done things I'm not proud of. Hurt people who deserved it, and maybe some who didn't. But I never touched my brother. Never would have. He was everything good about our family. Tears burned in Laura's eyes. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you. After Coulson, I don't know who to trust anymore. You trust yourself, he said quietly. Your instincts. Your judgment. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If someone feels dangerous, they probably are. What does your gut tell you about me? She closed her eyes. Breathed deep. Let herself really feel the truth underneath all the fear and doubt. That you're telling the truth, she whispered. That you're complicated but not cruel. That you'd never hurt me. I wouldn't. He reached across the table. I swear on everything I have. I would never hurt you. She believed him. God help her, she believed him. But someone wanted her to doubt. Wanted to poison what they had. And whoever it was wasn't done yet. The woman from the coffee shop watched them leave the restaurant together. Watched Chungwon help Laura into his car. Watched them drive away like they didn't have a care in the world. Phase 2, she murmured into her phone. Make her see what he really is. Make her run. And if she doesn't run, the voice asked, then we take her. Use her as leverage. Chungwon Shin needs to pay for what he did to our family. And his little girlfriend is the perfect pressure point. Laura woke up to flowers. Not a bouquet. Not a dozen roses. Hundreds of flowers. Her entire living room looked like a garden exploded. Lilies and orchids and something purple she didn't recognize. The card read, sorry for having secrets. Here's one less. I'm falling in love with you. JW. Her heart did something complicated in her chest. Happy and terrified in equal measure. She called him immediately. You're insane, she said when he answered. My apartment looks like a wedding venue. My neighbors probably think someone died. Do you like them? He sounded almost nervous. I love them. She stopped. Too fast. Too soon. Definitely too soon. They're perfect. Thank you. Laura. His voice went soft. Serious. You can say it.
If you want to.
I meant what I wrote. I love you too, she blurted out. I know it's fast. I know it's probably stupid. But I do. I really do. The relief in his laugh made her smile. Good. Because I'm taking you somewhere special today. Be ready in an hour. Where are we going? It's a surprise. Wear something comfortable. And bring your passport. My passport. Laura squeaked. Chungwon what? But he'd already hung up. 60 minutes later, they were at a private airfield. Actual private jet sat waiting on the tarmac. Small but sleek. The kind of aircraft that screamed money and privilege. We're flying somewhere? Laura asked stupidly. Obviously, they were flying somewhere. Just for the day, Chungwon assured her. I want to show you where I grew up. Where I came from. The parts of me that aren't business deals and hotel empires. They flew to a coastal city 3 hours away. The landscape below changed from urban sprawl to mountains to ocean. Beautiful and wild, and nothing like the city they'd left behind. A car waited at the airport. Chungwon drove them himself along winding roads that hugged the coastline. Eventually they reached a small village. Traditional houses with curved roofs. Narrow streets. The smell of salt water and grilled fish.
This is home, he said simply. Or it was.
Before everything changed. They walked through the village together. He showed her the school he attended. The beach where he learned to swim. The restaurant his mother used to run before she passed away. Every story made him more real. More human. Less myth and more man. My brother and I used to race along this pier, Chungwon said, staring out at the ocean. He always won. Always. I'd cheat and he'd still beat me. He was better than me. At everything.
Kinder.
Smarter. Everyone loved him. What happened to him? Laura asked gently. Really happened? Chungwon was quiet for a long time. Waves crashed against the rocks below. Seagulls cried overhead. Finally he spoke. He wanted out. Out of the business. Out of the life our father built. He was going to testify against some people. Bad people. People who hurt others for profit. His jaw tightened. The fire wasn't an accident. They killed him to keep him quiet. And I couldn't stop it. Couldn't save him. I was too late. Laura's heart broke for him. For the pain in his voice.
For the guilt he carried.
That's not your fault, isn't it? He turned to face her. I knew the risks. Knew what they were capable of. I should have protected him better. Should have made him stay away from all of it. He made his own choice.
To do the right thing.
To stand up to them. She took his hands. You honor him by continuing that work. By keeping people safe. By being better than the monsters who took him from you. Something shifted in his expression. Softness crept into those hard edges. How did I get so lucky? Finding you. Having you see the best in me when most people only see the worst. Maybe we found each other, Laura said. Maybe that's how it works. The universe puts people together who need each other. He kissed her there on the pier. Wind whipping around them. Ocean spray dampening their clothes. It tasted like salt and hope and promises they both wanted desperately to keep. But darkness was coming. They just didn't know it yet. The attack came from an unexpected direction. Not physical violence. Not threats. Something much worse. Laura's biggest client called 2 days after their trip. Canceled the contract. No explanation. Just a terse email saying they were going in a different direction. Then another client. And another. Within a week, she'd lost 70% of her business. Something's wrong, she told Vero over coffee. Her friend had been eerily silent about the whole Chungwon situation but finally agreed to meet. This isn't coincidence. Someone's sabotaging me. Vero stirred her latte slowly. Too slowly. Like she was choosing her words carefully. Maybe it's not sabotage. Maybe it's consequences. What does that mean? It means you're dating a dangerous man, Laura.
People know that.
People see you with him, and they get nervous. They don't want that kind of attention on their business. Vero finally met her eyes. I'm worried about you. We all are. You changed since you met him. You're not yourself anymore. I'm happier, Laura protested. For the first time in forever, I'm actually happy. Are you? Or are you just trading one controlling man for another? Vero's voice was gentle but firm. Coulson grabbed you. Chungwon owns you. Different methods. Same result. The words hit like a slap. That's not fair. Chungwon isn't anything like Coulson. Isn't he though? Think about it. You're losing your clients. Your independence. Your life is revolving around his schedule and his problems and his world. How is that different? Laura wanted to argue. Wanted to defend Chungwon and their relationship and everything she felt. But doubt crept in. Poisonous and insidious. What if Vero was right? What if she was making the same mistake again? I need to think, she said, standing abruptly. I'll call you later.
She didn't call.
Instead, she went home and stared at her empty inbox, at her dwindling bank account, at the life she'd built crumbling around her. And she wondered if love was supposed to cost this much. Chungwon showed up that night unannounced, let himself in with the key she'd given him the week before. He took one look at her face and knew something was wrong. What happened, he demanded. Not angry. Concerned. Always concerned when it came to her. I'm losing everything, Laura said flatly. My clients. My reputation. My career. All because I'm with you. He went very still. Someone threatened them. Told them to drop you, or else. How do you know that? Because it's exactly what I would do if I wanted to hurt someone. His expression darkened. I'll fix it. I'll make them reinstate the contracts.
No.
She held up a hand.
No.
That's exactly the problem. You can't just fix everything with money or threats or whatever you do. That's not how normal life works. Your life isn't normal anymore, he said quietly. It hasn't been since that night at the party. Since you chose to be with me. You knew what this meant. Did I? Laura's voice broke. Did I really know? Or did I just trade one prison for another? At least with Coulson, I knew what I was getting. With you, I don't even know who you really are half the time. The hurt on his face was devastating. You know exactly who I am. I've shown you everything. Every scar. Every secret. Every broken piece. Have you? She was crying now. Angry tears. Frustrated tears. Terrified tears. Because someone is coming after me and you won't tell me why. Someone knows things about your brother and your past, and you brush it off like it's nothing. You say you love me, but you keep me in the dark about everything that actually matters. I keep you in the dark to keep you safe, he said desperately. The less you know, the less danger you're in.
Can't you understand that? No.
I can't. Because I'm already in danger. I'm already losing everything. And if I don't even know why, if you won't trust me with the truth, then what's the point? Silence stretched between them, heavy and suffocating. Finally, Chungwon spoke. You want the truth? Fine. The people threatening your clients work for the same organization that killed my brother. They know I've been systematically dismantling their operations for 5 years, taking their businesses, their properties, their power.
And now they know about you.
They're using you to get to me. Laura's blood ran cold. You brought this to my door. You made me a target. Yes. No excuses. No justification. Just brutal honesty. I did. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I can protect you. I can keep you safe. You just have to trust me. How? She whispered. How can I trust you when everything around me is falling apart? Because I love you. Because I would burn the world down before I let anyone hurt you. Because you're the only good thing in my life, and I will not lose you too. His voice cracked on the last word.
Please, don't walk away. Not now.
Not when I finally found something worth fighting for. Laura looked at him. Really looked. Saw the desperation. The fear. The love. All real. All genuine. But was it enough? Could love survive this kind of darkness? I need time, she said finally. I need to think. Alone. How much time? I don't know. As much as I need. She pulled off the moon bracelet he'd given her and set it on the table between them. Keep this safe for me. Maybe I'll be ready to wear it again someday. The devastation on his face nearly broke her resolve. But she held firm. Turned away. Heard the door close behind him as he left. Only then did she let herself collapse. Let herself sob. Let herself mourn the love she was choosing to walk away from. The first week without Chungwon felt like drowning. Laura threw herself into work that didn't exist anymore. Applied for jobs she wasn't qualified for. Scrolled through old messages and photos until her eyes burned. Vero tried to help, but the advice felt hollow. Empty. You made the right choice. You're better off. You'll find someone new. But Laura didn't want someone new. She wanted the man who made her laugh, who listened, who saw her as more than just a pretty face or a convenient girlfriend. She wanted Chungwon, even with all his complications and dangers and secrets. "You're miserable," Vero observed during their third coffee date that week. "Just call him. Tell him you changed your mind." And then what? Go back to losing clients? To being a target? To wondering if every person I meet is a threat? Laura shook her head. "I can't live like that." "So, you'll live like this instead?" Alone and heartbroken. Before Laura could answer, her phone rang. Unknown number. Again. She'd blocked a dozen already, but they kept finding new ways to reach her. "Don't answer it," Vero warned. But something made Laura pick up. Maybe curiosity. Maybe desperation. Maybe just the foolish hope it might be Chungwon somehow. "Hello? Laura Bennett?" A woman's voice. Cold. Professional. Unfamiliar. "Who's asking?" "My name is Soonhee. I work for the people who've been making your life difficult. I'm calling with an offer." Laura's heart hammered. "I'm not interested in any offers from you. Not even one that gives you your life back, your clients, your reputation, your freedom." Soon he paused. "All you have to do is stay away from Chungwon Shin. Permanently. Publicly. Make it clear you want nothing to do with him. Do that, and everything returns to normal. And if I don't, then things get worse. Much worse. We have dirt on you, Laura. Things from your past. Things you'd rather not become public. Tax issues. That DUI you got when you were 22. Those photos from college you thought were deleted forever." The threat was clear. Specific. Real. Choose wisely. You have 48 hours. The line went dead. Laura sat frozen. Her hands shook so badly, she nearly dropped the phone. Vera was saying something, but the words didn't register. All she could think was how stupid she'd been. How naive. Chungwon tried to warn her. Tried to explain the danger. And she'd walked away thinking that would make her safe. There was no safe. Not anymore. Not from these people. "I have to go," she told Vero, standing abruptly. "Go where?" "Laura, what's wrong?" But she was already running. Out of the coffee shop. Down the street. Toward the one person who might actually be able to help her. Chungwon's office building loomed 50 stories high. All glass and steel and intimidation. Security stopped her at the front desk, but one call to his secretary got her an immediate elevator ride to the top floor. Apparently, he'd left standing orders. "If Laura Bennett shows up, send her straight to me. No questions. No delays." The elevator doors opened directly into his office. Not a hallway. Not a waiting room. Right into his personal space. He was standing by the window. Still as stone. He didn't turn when she entered. "They called me," Laura said, without preamble. "Threatened me. Gave me 48 hours to publicly cut ties with you, or they'll destroy what's left of my life." "I know." His voice was flat. "Dead. They sent me the recording. Wanted me to know they have you cornered. That I have to choose between your safety and my revenge. What are you going to do?" Finally he turned. The sight of him stole her breath. He looked terrible. Like he hadn't slept or eaten in days. His shirt was wrinkled. His hair messy. Eyes red-rimmed. This wasn't the controlled, dangerous man everyone feared. This was someone breaking apart. "I'm going to let you go," he said quietly. "I'm going to make a public statement that we've ended things. That you mean nothing to me. That you were just entertainment. I'll ruin your reputation myself if that's what it takes to make them believe you're worthless to me." "You'll what?" Laura couldn't believe what she was hearing. "I'll protect you the only way I can. By making them think you don't matter. That hurting you won't hurt me." He looked away. "It's the only option left." "No." The word came out fierce. Determined. "Absolutely not. I didn't come here for you to sacrifice yourself. I came here because I was wrong. Because I should have trusted you from the start. Because I love you, and I'm not running anymore. Laura. I'm not done." She crossed the space between them, took his face in her hands, made him look at her. "You were right. There is no normal anymore. No safe. No easy way out. But I don't care. I'd rather be in danger with you than safe without you. I'd rather fight beside you than hide alone. So whatever plan you're making, whatever move you're about to do, count me in. We face this together or not at all. Something broke in his expression. Relief and anguish and desperate hope all mixed together. You don't know what you're asking for. Yes, I do. I'm asking for the truth. All of it. No more protection. No more keeping me in the dark. Treat me like a partner. Like an equal. Like someone strong enough to handle reality.
He kissed her then.
Not gentle. Not sweet. Desperate and claiming and full of everything they'd been holding back. When they finally broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. Okay, he breathed. Okay. Partners. Equals. No more secrets.
Good.
So start talking. Who exactly are these people and how do we stop them? They spend the next 3 hours strategizing. Chang-won laid everything out. The organization. The key players. The illegal businesses they ran. The evidence he'd been collecting. The case he'd been building with prosecutors who actually gave a damn about justice. The problem is proof, he explained, pointing to charts and documents spread across his desk. We know they're guilty, but knowing isn't enough. We need something concrete. Something that ties the leadership directly to crimes they can't explain away. Like what? Financial records mostly. Money trails that show where the profits from human trafficking and drug distribution actually go. But those records are locked in a secure server. Somewhere we can't reach. Not legally, anyway. Laura studied the information. Her designer brain started making connections. Seeing patterns. This warehouse here. The one they use as a front company. Who handles their marketing? Some small firm. Why? Because marketing firms need access to everything. Social media accounts. Websites. Internal communications. If we could get hired as their marketing consultants. She trailed off, seeing the understanding dawn on his face. We'd have legitimate access to their systems. Could plant monitoring software. Track everything they do. Chang-won stared at her with something like awe. You're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm a graphic designer who knows how businesses work, she corrected. But she smiled. Felt useful. Felt powerful. So, how do we make them hire us? We make them want to.
Need to.
We create a marketing disaster they're desperate to fix. His mind was already racing ahead. I know people. Influencers. Journalists. We can manufacture a PR crisis that forces them to bring in outside help. Someone they don't suspect. Someone they think they can control. Someone like me. Someone exactly like you. He pulled her close. But Laura, if we do this, if you walk into their territory, you'll be in real danger. Not theoretical. Not abstract. Actual physical danger. Then you'll just have to make sure nothing happens to me, she said. Trying for confidence, she didn't quite feel. But fake it until you make it, right? I will. I swear I will. His voice held absolute conviction. But I need you to promise me something. If this goes wrong, if things fall apart, you run. You get out. You save yourself. No heroics. No trying to save me. Just survive. Please. Laura wanted to argue. Wanted to promise she'd never abandon him. But she saw the fear in his eyes. The raw terror of losing someone else he loved.
So she lied.
Okay. I promise. He knew it was a lie. She could tell by his expression. But he didn't call her on it. Just held her tighter. Like if he let go, she might disappear. We start tomorrow, he said. Tonight, let me just hold you. Let me pretend for a few more hours that the world is simple and you're safe and nothing bad can touch us. So they stayed like that, wrapped around each other in his office, overlooking the city. Pretending tomorrow wouldn't come. Pretending the danger wasn't real. Pretending love was enough to protect them from everything lurking in the dark.
It was a beautiful lie.
They both knew it. But sometimes beautiful lies are all we have. The plan came together faster than expected. Changwon's contacts flooded social media with complaints about the warehouse company's terrible branding and outdated website. Within 3 days, their legitimate customers started asking questions, started looking elsewhere. The organization panicked exactly like Changwon predicted they would. Laura created a portfolio under a fake name, samples of corporate work, testimonials from invented clients, everything polished and professional and completely fabricated. When the warehouse company reached out to local design firms, her fake company was the first they contacted. They want to meet tomorrow, she told Changwon. They were in his apartment now. Safer than the office. More private. Just me and their marketing manager. Some restaurant downtown. I'll have people watching. 3 teams. All exits covered. You'll have an earpiece. Anything feels wrong, you say the code word, and we extract you immediately. He was in full protection mode. Had been for days. Barely sleeping. Constantly checking security feeds and planning contingencies. What's the code word? Butterfly. Say butterfly in any context, and my people move. Butterfly, Laura repeated, testing how it felt. Okay, I can do that. You can still back out. I can find another way. Another angle. You don't have to risk yourself like this. But she did. Not just for him. For herself. For every person these monsters hurt. For Changwon's brother, who died trying to do the right thing. For the chance to be more than a victim. More than someone who needed saving. I want to do this, she said firmly. Trust me. Trust that I'm strong enough. He cupped her face. Kissed her softly. I've never doubted your strength. Only my ability to keep you safe. Then we're even. Because I never doubt you either. The meeting went smoothly. Too smoothly, maybe. The marketing manager was a nervous young guy named David who clearly hated his job and his bosses and everything about corporate life. He jumped at Laura's ideas. Loved her portfolio. Offer her the contract on the spot. I'll need access to your current systems, Laura said, trying to sound casual. Professional. Social media accounts. Website backend. Email lists. The usual stuff. Sure. I'll send you all the login credentials tonight. Honestly, you're a lifesaver. My boss was ready to fire me over this mess. David smiled gratefully. Can you start Monday? Monday's perfect. She left the restaurant feeling accomplished. Powerful. Like maybe they could actually pull this off. Changwon's car was waiting around the corner. She slid into the back seat and he immediately pulled her close. You were amazing, he murmured against her hair. Natural. Confident. They didn't suspect anything. Phase 1 complete then. She allowed herself to relax into his embrace. Now comes the hard part. The hard part meant spending 3 weeks embedded in their office. Acting normal. Designing actual marketing materials while secretly copying files and installing tracking software. Every day felt like walking a tightrope. One wrong move. One suspicious glance. One question she couldn't answer convincingly. And everything would fall apart. But Laura was good at her job. Both jobs, actually. The designs impressed everyone. Her friendly demeanor made her popular with the staff. Nobody suspected the cheerful American designer was systematically dismantling their criminal enterprise from the inside. Until David called her into his office on a Thursday afternoon. We need to talk, he said. His voice was different. Harder. No more nervous energy. No more friendly smiles. Laura's pulse kicked up. Sure. What's going on? My boss wants to meet you. Ask specifically about the new designer. Wants to thank you personally for the great work. He wasn't quite looking at her. He's here now. In the executive conference room. Says it'll just take a minute. Every instinct screamed danger. This wasn't protocol. Wasn't normal. But refusing would be worse. More suspicious. So Laura followed David down the hallway. Toward the conference room at the end. Toward whatever waited inside. The room was empty except for one man. Late 50s. Expensive suit. Cold eyes that assessed her like she was a problem to solve. This wasn't the marketing manager's boss. This was someone much higher up the chain. Laura Bennett, he said in accented English. Or should I call you by your real name? The one that matches the woman dating Chung-won Shin. Her blood turned to ice. I don't know what you're talking about, she tried.
Weak.
Unconvincing. But what else could she do?
Please.
We're not idiots. He gestured to a chair. Sit. We have much to discuss. I'd rather stand. I insist. Not a request. A command backed by the two guards who suddenly appeared in the doorway, blocking her exit, blocking any chance of escape. Laura sat, tried to remember the code word, tried to think past the panic clawing up her throat.
Butterfly.
She needed to say butterfly, but her mouth wouldn't work. Her brain wouldn't cooperate. You've been very busy, the man continued. Installing software, copying files, sending information to your boyfriend. Did you really think we wouldn't notice? That our IT department wouldn't flag unusual activity? They knew everything, which meant Chung-won was in danger too. The whole operation was compromised, and she was trapped here with no way to warn anyone. Here's what's going to happen, the man said pleasantly, like they were discussing the weather. You're going to call Chung-won. Tell him to meet you here. Tell him you found something important, something he needs to see in person. And when he arrives, well, let's just say we'll finally settle our accounts with the Shin family. Permanently.
No.
The word came out stronger than she felt. I won't help you hurt him. Then I'll hurt you instead.
Slowly.
Painfully. Until you beg me to let you make that call. Your choice really. Easy way or hard way. But either way, Chung-won Shin dies today. Laura met his eyes. Saw the absolute certainty there. This man had killed before. Would kill again. Would kill her without hesitation if she didn't cooperate. But she'd promised Chung-won. Promised herself. No matter what happened, she wouldn't be the weapon used against him. I like butterflies, she said clearly. Loudly. Hoping the earpiece was still working. Hoping someone was listening. Always have. Even as a kid. Something about butterflies just makes me happy. The man frowned. What are you babbling about? Nothing. Just nervous. You're asking me to betray someone I love. That makes me think about butterflies. Weird, right? Butterflies and betrayal. The mind makes strange connections under stress. She'd said it 3 times now. 3 times clearly. If Chung-won's people were listening, they'd know. They'd come. They'd get her out. Or she'd just signed her own death warrant. The man studied her, then slowly smiled. You're clever. I'll give you that. But cleverness won't save you. Nothing will. Make the call or start screaming. Your choice. Laura chose option 3. She grabbed the coffee mug from the table and threw it directly at his face. Then ran. She didn't get far. The guards caught her before she reached the elevator. Dragged her back to the conference room. But she bought time. Maybe. Hopefully. Enough for Chung-won to realize something was wrong. Stupid girl, the man hissed, wiping coffee from his expensive suit. Now we do this the hard way. But before anyone could move, the building's fire alarm screamed to life. Sprinklers activated. Lights flickered. Emergency procedures kicked in automatically. People flooded into the hallways. Confused. Panicking. Creating chaos. What is this? The man demanded. One of the guards checked his phone. Fire department's been called. Anonymous tip about smoke in the basement. We have to evacuate. Protocol. In the confusion, Laura felt someone grab her hand. She spun, ready to fight. But it was David, the nervous marketing manager. Except he didn't look nervous anymore. He looked confident, professional, like someone who knew exactly what he was doing. Chung-won sent me, he whispered. I'm undercover. FBI. Now shut up and follow me. They slipped into the crowd of evacuating employees. Down the stairs. Through the lobby. Out into the street where fire trucks were already arriving. Sirens wailing. Lights flashing. Beautiful organized chaos. A black car pulled up. Door opened. Chung-won reached out. Get in.
Now.
Laura dove into the back seat. David followed. The car was moving before the door fully closed. Speeding away from the building. Away from danger. away from the men who wanted them both dead. Are you hurt? Chungwon demanded. His hands ran over her face, her arms, checking for injuries. Did they touch you? Did they? I'm fine. Scared but fine. She was shaking now. Adrenaline crash hitting hard. They knew everything. About us. About the plan. How did they know? Doesn't matter right now. We got you out. That's what matters.
He pulled her against his chest.
God, Laura. When I heard you say butterfly, when I realized they had you, I've never been so terrified in my life. The FBI's been working this case for 2 years, David explained from the front seat. Except his name probably wasn't David. Chungwon contacted us 6 months ago with evidence. Real evidence we could use. We've been building the case ever since. You accelerated our timeline significantly with the files you copied. We have enough now to arrest the entire leadership. So, it's over? Laura asked hopefully. They can't hurt us anymore? David hesitated. Not exactly. The leadership will go down. But the organization has factions. People who'll want revenge. You'll both need protection. New identities maybe. Relocation. It'll take time to be truly safe. Chungwon's arms tightened around her. Whatever it takes. Whatever we have to do. As long as we're together. But Laura felt something shift inside her. A coldness. A realization. They would never be truly free. Would spend years looking over their shoulders. Years moving. Hiding. Never settling. Never safe. And it was all because of Chungwon's choices. His revenge. His need for justice. You knew this would happen, she said quietly. You knew from the start that being with you meant running forever. Yes. No denial. No excuse. I knew. And I was selfish enough to let you fall in love with me anyway. The words hung between them. Heavy. Complicated.
True.
I need time, Laura said.
Again.
I need to think about what I want. What kind of life I can live with. The pain on his face nearly broke her.
But she meant it.
Loved him desperately.
Completely.
But love wasn't enough if it meant giving up every piece of herself. Every dream. Every chance at normalcy. How much time, he asked. Same question as before.
Different circumstances.
Same desperate hope. I don't know.
Weeks.
Maybe months. I need to figure out who I am when I'm not fighting. When I'm not afraid. When I'm just me. Okay. His voice cracked. Okay. Take all the time you need. I'll wait. I'll always wait for you. The FBI put her in a safe house. Suburban neighborhood. Fake name.
Fake job.
Fake life. It felt like witness protection, because that's essentially what it was. She was the star witness against one of the region's most dangerous criminal organizations. Until the trial ended, she couldn't go home. Couldn't contact friends. Couldn't be Laura Bennett anymore. Chungwon called every day. She never answered. But she listened to every voicemail. Heard the pain in his voice. The longing. The regret. He told her about the arrests. The evidence. The prosecutors building their case. He told her about dismantling his own criminal connections. Going legitimate. Trying to build a life she might actually want to be part of. I love you, he said in message number 47. I know you need space. I know I hurt you. I know I dragged you into darkness you never asked for. But I love you. And if you decide you want nothing to do with me ever again, I'll understand. I'll respect it. I'll let you go. But please, please just let me know you're okay. Let me know you're safe. That's all I need. Laura cried listening to that one. Cried until her chest ached and her eyes burned, and she couldn't cry anymore. Because she loved him too. Loved him enough to know he deserved better than what she could give right now. Deserved someone whole. Someone brave. Someone not shattered into 1,000 pieces by fear and trauma and impossible choices. 3 months passed. The trial began. Laura testified. Told the truth. Watched as men in expensive suits got led away in handcuffs. Justice. Finally. Really. But it felt hollow somehow. Empty. Like winning a war at the cost of everything that mattered. You're free to go, the FBI agent told her after the verdicts came in. New identity if you want it. Protection for as long as you need. Or you can go back to your old life. Risk is minimal now. Your choice. Her choice. Everything always came down to choices. Stay or go. Run or fight. Love or safety. Why couldn't she have both? Why did the universe demand she choose? She chose herself. Moved to a different city. Started fresh. New clients. New apartment. New friends who didn't know about Mafia boyfriends or warehouse infiltrations or the time she nearly died for love. Built a life that was simple and quiet and absolutely ordinary. It was exactly what she'd wanted. Exactly what she needed. And she was completely miserable. 6 months after the trial, Vero tracked her down. Her old friend showed up at her new apartment with coffee and determination.
We need to talk, Vero said.
How did you find me?
Please.
I'm a lawyer with FBI connections. Finding people is literally part of my job. She settled onto the couch. You look terrible, by the way. When's the last time you slept?
Or ate?
Or did anything except work? I'm fine. You're a disaster. You're in love with a man you won't talk to and torturing yourself trying to pretend you're not. Vero didn't pull punches. Never had. Look, I was wrong. About Chungwon. About everything. He's not Coulson. He never was. Yes, he's complicated. Yes, he comes with baggage. But he loves you. Actually, truly loves you. And you love him. So, why are you here alone instead of with him? Because I'm scared, Laura admitted. The first honest thing she'd said in months. I'm scared of losing myself again. Scared of being weak. Scared that if I go back, I'll just be his girlfriend.
His wife.
His possession. Nothing more. So, don't be. Be his partner. His equal. Make him meet you where you are instead of dragging you where he is. Vero leaned forward. That man went completely legitimate for you. Sold off everything questionable. Works with the FBI, now helping them take down other organizations. He rebuilt his entire life, hoping you'd come back. Doesn't that mean anything? It meant everything. That was the problem. It meant Chungwon loved her enough to change.
To grow.
To become someone better. And she'd been too scared to even call him back. What if it's too late? Laura whispered. What if he moved on? Found someone who isn't broken? Only one way to find out. Vero handed her a phone number. This is his new private line. Direct access. No secretaries. No guards. Just him.
Call.
Text. Show up unannounced. Whatever feels right. But stop running. Stop hiding. Stop denying yourself happiness because you're afraid of getting hurt. Life hurts. Love hurts. But it's worth it. I promise it's worth it. Laura stared at the number. 10 digits. That's all that stood between her and potentially everything she ever wanted. Or everything she'd ever lost. Somehow both felt equally possible. She made the call. He answered on the first ring. Like he'd been waiting.
Hoping.
Laura? Hi, she managed. Voice shaky.
Heart pounding.
I think we should talk. Actually talk. Face to face. If you want to. I want to. More than anything. Where are you? I'll come to you.
Right now.
Tonight. Whenever you say. Tomorrow, she decided. There's a coffee shop near my apartment. Small place. Quiet. Can you meet me there? 2 o'clock. I'll be there. His voice broke. Thank you. Thank you for giving me another chance. Don't thank me yet. We have a lot to figure out. I know. But we'll figure it out together. That's all that matters. Together. They hung up. Laura sat in the gathering darkness of her apartment and wondered if she was making the biggest mistake of her life. Or the best decision. Or maybe, hopefully both. The coffee shop smelled like cinnamon and hope. Laura arrived early. Claimed a corner table. Ordered tea she couldn't drink because her stomach was full of butterflies. Real ones this time. Nervous anticipation instead of terror. Chungwon walked in at exactly 2 o'clock. He'd changed. Lost weight. Gained lines around his eyes. looked older somehow, more tired. But when he saw her, when their eyes met across the room, his entire face transformed.
Joy.
Relief. Love. Pure, unfiltered love. He sat down across from her. Didn't reach for her hands. Didn't try to touch her. Just sat. Waited. Let her lead. You look different, Laura said. You look perfect. His smile was soft. I've missed you. Every single day. Every single moment. I've missed you so much it hurt to breathe sometimes. I missed you too. That's the problem. I couldn't stop missing you even when I wanted to. Even when I tried to move on and build a new life. You were always there. Always in my head. Always in my heart. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe loving someone this much is dangerous. Maybe it makes you stupid and reckless and willing to sacrifice things you shouldn't sacrifice. Or maybe, Changwon said gently, loving someone this much is the whole point. Maybe it's what we're supposed to do. Risk everything for the chance at something real. Laura wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe love was enough. But doubt lingered. You changed your whole life for me. What if I can't be what you need? What if I'm not worth all that sacrifice? You are. You're worth everything. And I didn't change for you. I changed for me.
Because I saw what you saw.
A man trapped in darkness. A man hurting people instead of helping them. A man becoming the monster I'd spent years fighting. You showed me a different way. A better way. That's not sacrifice. That's salvation. The words cracked something open in her chest. Something that had been frozen solid for months. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I was so angry at you. So hurt. You brought danger to my door and then expected me to just accept it. To just live with it. To just trust you to keep me safe when everything was falling apart. I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have been honest from the start. Should have let you choose with full information instead of pulling you into my mess slowly. I was selfish. I was wrong. And I will spend the rest of my life making it up to you if you let me.
How?
How can you possibly make it up to me? By putting you first. Always. Every time. Every choice. Your safety. Your happiness. Your dreams. Those become my priorities. Not revenge. Not justice. Not my empire or my reputation. Just you. He finally reached across the table. Took her hand. I'll prove it every day. However long it takes. However much you need. I'll prove I'm worthy of your love. Laura looked at their joined hands. His fingers wrapped around hers.
Strong.
Steady. Safe. This was the man who'd faced down her abusive ex. Who'd shown her vulnerability and truth. Who changed everything about his life because he loved her. Maybe that was worth risking her heart again. Maybe that was worth fighting for. I have conditions, she said. Anything. First, you don't make decisions for me. Not about my safety. Not about my career.
Not about anything. We talk.
We discuss.
We decide together.
Like actual partners.
Done.
Second, you keep working with the FBI.
Keep helping them.
Keep doing good instead of just surviving. I need to know the man I love is making the world better, not worse. I can do that. I have been doing that. It's actually satisfying. Knowing I'm helping instead of hurting. Third. She hesitated. This one was harder. More vulnerable. You're patient with me. I'm still scared.
Still healing.
I'm going to have bad days and moments where I doubt everything and times when I need space.
Can you handle that?
I can handle anything as long as I know you're coming back. Take all the space you need. Have all the bad days you need. I'll be here. Waiting. Supporting. Loving you through it. The tears came harder now. Happy tears maybe. Hopeful tears. I love you. I never stopped loving you. Even when I wanted to. Even when I tried to. I love you so much and it terrifies me. It terrifies me too, he admitted. Loving you is the scariest thing I've ever done. Because losing you would destroy me completely. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. I'd rather risk everything than live in a world where you're not mine. Then I guess we're doing this, Laura whispered. We're really doing this. Together. Partners. No more running. No more running, he agreed. They left the coffee shop hand in hand, walked through the city as the sun set, made plans for a future that felt possible again, talked about moving in together eventually, maybe getting a dog, maybe traveling to places that didn't involve danger or death or federal investigations. It wouldn't be easy. Healing never is. Trust takes time to rebuild. But they had time. They had love. They had each other. And somehow, impossibly, miraculously, that felt like enough. Chang-won stopped walking suddenly, pulled something from his pocket. The moon bracelet. The one she'd left on his table months ago. I kept it safe, he said. Just like you asked. Are you ready to wear it again? Laura held out her wrist. Let him fasten it carefully. The silver was cold against her skin. The moons caught the streetlight. Beautiful.
Constant.
True. I'm ready, she said. For this. For us. For whatever comes next. I'm ready. He kissed her under the street lamps. Soft and sweet and full of promise. And for the first time in months, Laura felt like she could breathe again. Like the weight crushing her chest had finally lifted. Like maybe, just maybe, they were going to be okay. He kissed her under the street lamps. Soft and sweet and full of promise. And for the first time in months, Laura felt like she could breathe again. Like the weight crushing her chest had finally lifted. Like maybe, just maybe, they were going to be okay. They were halfway back to her apartment when Chang-won's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and his expression changed. Went dark. Closed off. The same look he'd worn months ago when everything started falling apart.
Don't, Laura said.
Don't shut me out.
Not now.
Not after everything. He answered the call, but kept his eyes on her. What is it?
Pause.
His jaw clenched. When? Another pause. I'll handle it. Give me 20 minutes. What's wrong? Laura demanded when he hung up. My father's in the hospital. Heart attack. They're saying he might not make it through the night. Chang-won looked torn. Conflicted. I haven't spoken to him in 3 years. Not since he told me going legitimate made me weak. Made me a traitor to the family. But he's still your father. He's still the man who built the empire I spent years trying to destroy. The man who taught my brother that violence was the only language people understood. The man who he stopped.
Took a breath.
I don't know if I can forgive him. Even now. Even dying. Laura squeezed his hand. Then don't go to forgive him.
Go to say goodbye.
Go, because you'll regret it forever if you don't. Go because closure matters even when it hurts. Come with me? His voice was small. Vulnerable. I can't face him alone. Okay.
Yes.
Of course I'll come. The hospital was sterile and too bright. Everything smelled like disinfectant and fear. Chang-won led her through hallways that all looked the same until they reached the ICU. A woman waited outside the room. Early 60s. Beautiful even in distress. Chang-won's mother probably. Yama, Chang-won said softly. She turned, and her eyes filled with tears. Chang-won, you came. I wasn't sure you would. Her gaze shifted to Laura. And you brought someone. This is Laura. My girlfriend. My partner. He stumbled over the words like he wasn't sure which fit better. Laura, this is my mother, Ji-hai. It's nice to meet you, Laura said, feeling completely inadequate. What do you say to a woman whose husband is dying? He's been asking for you, Ji-hai told her son, for the past hour. Keeps saying he has things to say. Things he should have said years ago. Chang-won hesitated at the door. Laura could feel the tension radiating off him. Do you want me to wait out here? She offered.
No. Please.
I need you with me. They entered together. The man in the bed looked nothing like the powerful figure Laura imagined. He was small.
Frail.
Hooked up to machines that beeped and whirred. His eyes opened when they approached. Chang-won, he rasped. You look different. Softer maybe. Is that because of her? Appa, Chang-won said. His voice was carefully neutral. The doctors say. I know what the doctors say. I'm dying. Finally paying for a lifetime of bad decisions. His father's eyes found Laura. You're the woman from the trial. The one who testified. The one who helped take down the organization I spent 40 years building. Laura's heart hammered, but she met his gaze steadily.
Yes.
That's me. Good. The word surprised them both.
Good.
That empire was poison. I knew it. Your mother knew it. But I was too proud to admit it.
Too stubborn to change.
I told myself I was providing for my family, but really I was just feeding my own ego. My own need for power. Appa, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Because after tonight, I won't get another chance.
He coughed. Winced.
Your brother died because of my choices. Because I built something so corrupt that good men had to die to protect it. I killed my own son. Not directly, but I might as well have. Tears streamed down Chungwon's face. Don't say that. Don't. It's true.
And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
For making you grow up in that world. For teaching you violence instead of compassion. For calling you weak when you tried to be better than me. You were never weak. You were always stronger. Strong enough to walk away. Strong enough to choose differently. Chungwon collapsed into the chair beside the bed. I wanted you to be proud of me. That's all I ever wanted. Your approval. Your respect. I was proud. I am proud. I just didn't know how to say it. Didn't know how to admit that my son surpassed me in every way that matters. His father's hand shook as he reached for Chungwon's. Be happy. Build a life with this woman. Have children. Teach them kindness instead of cruelty. Break the cycle I started. That's all I ask. That's my final request. I will. I promise I will. Good. His breathing was labored now. Shallow. Now get out of here. Both of you.
Go live.
Don't waste your youth watching an old man die. But they stayed. Held his hands. Talked about memories that didn't involve crime or violence. About Chungwon's childhood before everything went dark. About his mother's cooking and his brother's laugh and summer days at the beach house. They stayed until the machines stopped beeping. Until the nurses came. Until it was over. Ji-hai wept in the hallway. Chungwon held her while Laura stood awkwardly nearby, not sure where she fit in this family grief. But then Ji-hai reached for her too. Pulled her into the embrace. Held them both like they were precious. Thank you for coming, she whispered to Laura. Thank you for being here. For loving my son. For helping him become the man I always hoped he'd be. I didn't do anything, Laura protested. You did everything. Ji-hai pulled back, wiping her eyes. You gave him a reason to change. A reason to hope. That's more than I ever managed. They left the hospital as dawn broke. Neither had slept. Both were emotionally wrung out. Chungwon drove in silence while Laura watched the city wake up around them. Finally, he pulled over at a park. Just sat there staring at nothing. I don't know how to feel, he admitted. I'm sad, relieved, angry, grateful. Everything at once. It's overwhelming. That's normal. Grief isn't clean or simple. It's messy and contradictory and completely exhausting. Laura unbuckled her seatbelt and turned to face him. You don't have to have it figured out right now. You just have to feel it, whatever comes. He apologized. After everything. After years of silence. He apologized. Does that change anything? I don't know. Maybe. He can't undo the damage. Can't bring my brother back. But knowing he regretted it, knowing he saw his mistakes, that helps somehow. Makes it hurt less maybe. They sat together as the sun climbed higher. Watched joggers pass by. Watched dogs chase balls. Watched normal people living normal lives. Finally, Chungwon spoke again. I need to tell you something. Something I should have mentioned before, but kept putting off because I was scared you'd leave again. Laura's stomach dropped. What is it? My mother.
She's not well.
Early stage dementia. The doctors say she has maybe 5 years before she won't recognize anyone. Before she needs full-time care. He stared at his hands. I'm all she is now. My brother's gone. My father's gone. I'm it. The only family left. And I can't. I won't put her in some facility where she'll be alone and scared. So, what are you saying? I'm saying I need to take care of her. Move her in with me. Be there for her decline.
And I know that's a lot to ask.
I know that complicates things between us. But I can't abandon her. Not after everything. Not when she needs me most. Laura processed this. Thought about what it meant. A future with Chungwon now included his mother. Included watching someone slowly lose themselves to disease. Included responsibilities and complications she hadn't signed up for. But she'd also watched him hold his father's hand while the man died. Watched him comfort his mother, even though he was grieving too. Watched him be exactly the kind of man she'd want raising their hypothetical future children.
Kind.
Patient. Loyal to the end. Then we take care of her together, Laura said. Partners, remember? That means sharing the hard stuff too. Not just the good parts. The look on his face was worth every uncertainty. You mean that? You'd really? I mean it. Your mother is part of your life. Which means she's part of mine now too. We'll figure it out. All of it. Together. He kissed her then. Different from before.
Deeper.
More desperate. Like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. I love you, he said. I love you so much it scares me sometimes. What I'd do for you. What I'd sacrifice. What I'd risk. It's terrifying and exhilarating and I never wanted to stop. Then don't let it.
Keep loving me. Keep choosing me.
Keep being exactly who you are right now in this moment. That's all I need. That's all I'll ever need. They drove to his apartment. Jihai was already there, packing her husband's things with shaking hands. Laura helped without being asked. Folded clothes. Sorted papers. Made tea nobody drank. Acted like family because maybe, hopefully, that's what she was becoming. You're good for him, Jihai said when Chungwon stepped out to take a call. I can see it. The way he looks at you. The way he softens. My husband was hard. Made our sons hard too. But you're teaching Chungwon to be gentle. To be vulnerable. That's a gift. He's teaching me too. To be brave.
To trust.
To believe I deserve good things. Then you're perfect for each other. Jihai smiled sadly. I'm glad he has you. For what's coming. For when I start forgetting. He'll need someone strong beside him. Someone who won't run when things get difficult. I won't run. Not anymore. I'm done running. The words felt true. Felt solid. Felt like a promise she could actually keep this time. Chungwon returned looking troubled. That was the FBI. They need me to testify in another case. Something connected to the original organization. They're saying I'll need to go into protective custody for a few weeks while the trial happens. When? Laura asked. Next month. Maybe sooner. He glanced at his mother. At Laura. But I can't leave. Not now. Not with everything happening. Yes, you can, Jihai said firmly. You can and you will. Justice matters. Finishing what you started matters. I'll be fine. Laura will help me. Won't you, dear? Of course, Laura said before she could overthink it. Your mother stays with me. We'll manage until you get back. That's too much to ask. You barely know each other. You don't have to. I want to. And shockingly, she meant it. Your mother is important to you. Which makes her important to me. Simple as that.
So, it was decided.
Chungwon would testify. Laura would care for Jihai. They'd manage somehow. They'd make it work, because that's what love meant. Showing up. Doing hard things. Being there even when it was filled with obstacles, and nothing like the fairy tale romance everyone dreams about. Thank you so much for listening to this story of love. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can witness even more lovely stories of love.